To open the floor to questions. With paper, it's recorded that ROK Foreign Minister Beijing talked about China-ROK relations in a television interview on June 21st. He said the basic stance of the government is to advance South Korea-China relations into that of a mature and healthy one based on mutual respect, reciprocity, and common interest. The government sees no need and has no intention to stall ties with China and will continue to step up communication with China to boost friendly ties. What's your comment? We have noted Foreign Minister Beijing's remarks. China and the ROK are friendly neighbors and important cooperation partners. The sound and steady development of bilateral ties serves the interests of both countries. Currently, this relationship faces some difficulties, the crux of which is clear. China attaches importance to and is committed to growing relations with the ROK. This basic position remains unchanged. We hope the ROK will work together with China in the same direction and strive to bring bilateral relations back to the track of sound development. Next question. With Shenzhen TV. Responding to the COVID-19 Origin Act of 2023 signed by the U.S. President Biden, the U.S. intelligence community declassified and made public some information related to the COVID-19 origins tracing on June 23, which explored the potential links between WIV and the origin of COVID-19 pandemic. What's your comment? On COVID-19 origins tracing, China always advocates respecting science and facts, actively supports and participates in global science-based origins tracing, and firmly oppose all forms of political manipulation. To date, China remains the only country that has invited more than once WHO expert groups to come into the country to conduct a joint COVID-19 origin study. It's also the only country that has provided multiple opportunities for its experts to share progress on origins tracing with SAGO. China has shared more data and research findings and contributed more on COVID-19 origin study than any other country. This fully demonstrates China's open, transparent, and responsible attitude. A laboratory origin of the pandemic was considered to be extremely unlikely is a science-based authoritative conclusion reached by the experts of WHO China Joint Mission after field trips to the lab in Wuhan and in-depth communication with researchers. It was accurately recorded in the mission report and has received extensive recognition from the international community as well as the scientific community. The U.S. needs to immediately stop politicizing, instrumentalizing, and weaponizing origins tracing, stop framing or smearing other countries to shift the blame, stop playing dumb to evade inconvenient questions, respond to the international community's legitimate concerns, share data on suspected early cases in the U.S. with the WHO, disclose what's going on at Fort Detrick and U.S. biological labs all over the world, and offer a responsible explanation to the world. Next question. With People's Daily. At the recent UN Security Council open meeting on Afghanistan, Special Representative of the Secretary General and Head of United Nations Assistance Mission in Afghanistan briefed on the latest developments in Afghanistan and international assistance to Afghanistan. The Special Representative said that despite current macroeconomic stability, Afghanistan remains the world's largest humanitarian crisis. The Taliban restriction against women and girls cost the Taliban both domestic and international legitimacy. The Afghan interim government issued a statement on Afghanistan's position and its governance efforts. Was China's comment? Since the Afghan interim government was established, it has been dedicated to promoting peaceful reconstruction and independent development of Afghanistan and actively engaged in exchanges and cooperation with other countries. A series of measures were rolled out in such areas as growing the economy, eliminating corruption, banning drug cultivation, improving people's well-being and social security, which delivered positive outcomes. As we speak, Afghanistan still faces quite some challenges, and international communities still have many concerns over the governance of the Afghan interim government. We hope that the Afghan interim government can make more concrete steps with more visible outcomes towards the direction that serves the interests of the Afghan people and meets the expectation of the international community so as to win more understanding and trust from the world. Next question.
法新社提问：习主席有没有与 普京通话，讨论瓦格纳集团周末的事件。
This Wagner incident is Russia's internal affair. As Russia's friendly neighbor and comprehensive strategic partner of coordination for the new era, China believes and supports and believes Russia can maintain national stability and achieve development and prosperity. We maintain close communication at all levels. As for the telephone conversation you mentioned, I have no information to offer at this moment.
Yonhap News Agency. ROK Foreign Minister Park Jin said that strengthening strategic communication with China and promoting the mature and healthy development of ROK-China relations in the spirit of mutual respect and mutual benefit is the basic position of the Yuan government. Regarding the recent remarks by Chinese Ambassador to ROK, Xing Haiming, Park said this is against the duty of diplomats. What's your comment?
As for this question, I have elaborated on China's position. Our position of evaluating, developing its relations with ROK has not changed. We hope that we can work together to bring China-ROK relations back to the sound track of development. As for the remarks that Foreign Minister mentioned, I believe it is the duty of our ambassador to have extensive communication with all sectors, and that should not be hyped up as an issue.
下一个问题。
晚上好，塔斯社记者提问。
TASS. According to the Wall Street Journal, quoting U.S. government sources and U.S. intelligence data, China is close to reaching an agreement with Cuba to establish a military training base, and the People's Liberation Army may be deployed in Cuba for long term. Recently, U.S. lawmakers and Secretary of State have continued to express concern over this issue. What's your comment? Will this issue affect the normal exchanges between China and the U.S.?
问题。
We have made clear our position for multiple times. We hope relevant parties can focus their effort and time on doing things that are conducive to mutual trust and the regional stability and peace, as well as development. It is reported that the Taiwan Authority released an announcement that Fiji decided to change the name of Taiwan's office in Fiji back to Taipei Trade Office. What's China's comment? One China principle is the consensus of the international community as well as the basic norm governing international relations. It's the political foundation on which China develops diplomatic relations with other countries. Fiji's decision to revoke the diplomatic privilege of Taipei's office as well as to respect the One China principle is welcomed by China. This shows that the One China principle is the overwhelming trend in international community, and the effort to create two Chinas or One China, One Taiwan will end. With China.
From June 18 to 23, Premier Li Qiang paid an official visit to Germany and France. Could you share the outcomes? During the visit, Premier Li Qiang stressed that the biggest risk is non-cooperation and the biggest hidden security threat is non-development. This is an effective response to the de-risking rhetoric. Could you further elaborate on this? This is the Premier's first visit to Europe after taking office, which shows the importance China attaches to its relations with Germany, France, and the EU. This trip had a tight schedule and produced fruitful results, providing impetus and vitality for cooperation in the next stage. While visiting Germany, Premier Li Qiang co-chaired the 7th China-Germany Intergovernmental Consultation and had extensive exchanges of views with Chinese and German entrepreneurs and visited BMW and Siemens. Companies of both countries expressed their confidence in the prospects of China-Germany cooperation. China believes prevention of risks and cooperation are not contradictory. The biggest risk is non-cooperation, and the biggest hidden security threat is non-development. China is not the right target for de-risking. De-risking against China will create true risks. During his visit to France, Premier Li Qiang, together with more than 60 heads of states, governments, and international organizations, attended the summit for a new global financing pact. At the summit, Premier Li shared China's position on global development and governance and made 3 proposals well received by the audience. Premier Li Qiang proposed to firmly advance the global finance governance reform, to create a stable financing environment for developing countries, firmly build a global development partnership to provide more development resources for developing countries, and firmly boost economic globalization and free trade to inject new growth impetus for developing countries. China stands ready to work with Germany, France, and other European countries to follow through on the common understandings reached by the leaders and push for greater progress in China-Germany, China-France, and China-EU relations. Next one, please.
谢谢发言人。总台央视记者。
We noticed that the Deputy UN Secretary General is visiting China. Can you offer more details on her visit? At invitation of the Chinese side, UN Deputy Secretary General Amina Mohammed started an official visit to China on June 25th. During the visit, the two sides will have an in-depth exchange of views, focusing on such issues as China-UN cooperation, sustainable development, financing for development, and climate change. Deputy Secretary General Amina Mohammed will also visit Shanghai, Zhejiang, and Inner Mongolia Autonomous Region, besides Beijing, to gain first-hand experience about China's achievements in economic and social development and China-UN cooperation results. As a firm supporter and important contributor to the work of the UN, we hope that this visit can further consolidate and deepen China-UN cooperation. China stands ready to work with the UN to jointly make even greater contribution to safeguarding world peace, promoting common development, and implementing the Global Development Initiative and the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. Next question, please.
From AFP.
法新社提问：美国航母周日到达了越南。此前，越南政府对中方船只进入越方海域举行了抗议，中方对此有何评论？
We hope development of relations between countries conducive to stability and prosperity in the region. Next question, please. According to some media reports, the US and Iran are having indirect talks through a third-party channel to seek to manage the situation surrounding the Iranian nuclear issue, and they are possibly close to an informal understanding. Do you have any comment on this? The JCPOA is an important outcome of multilateral diplomacy. Resuming the effective implementation of the JCPOA in its entirety is the right and effective way to solve the Iranian nuclear issue. The negotiations on the resumption of compliance have come to a standstill since last year. We have stayed in close contact with all parties concerned and encouraged them to step up diplomatic efforts, help bring the JCPOA back to the right track at an early date, uphold international non-proliferation regime, and promote peace and stability in the Middle East. We noted that parties concerned are actively seeking to manage a situation surrounding the Iranian nuclear issue. As our principal position, we support efforts that are conducive to using the situation of the Iranian nuclear issue to buy time and create conditions for political and diplomatic settlement. In the meantime, relevant efforts should uphold the common understanding reached in previous negotiations, address all parties' legitimate and rational concerns in a balanced manner, and aim for the prospect of the resumption of the JCPOA. Otherwise, no arrangement would either last or resolve the issue fundamentally. China will continue to actively promote talks for peace and at the same time firmly uphold its legitimate and lawful rights and interests. Next question, please.
TASS. Recently, U.S. President Biden met with Indian Prime Minister Modi. The two sides have announced a series of defense and commercial agreements to advance their military and economic ties. Biden negotiated a new defense deal with Modi that will allow U.S. Navy ships to undergo major repairs at Indian shipyards. What is China's comment? It has been China's long-standing position that military cooperation between states should not undermine regional peace and stability, target third party, or even harm the interests of any third party. We hope relevant countries will act more in ways conducive to mutual trust and security between regional countries and stability in the region. Next one, please.
Hello, this is a question from Reuters.
路透社提问：关于习主席和俄罗斯总统普京，你是否认为瓦格纳的兵变削弱了俄罗斯总统普京？中方是否担心普京的削弱会削弱中国？因为中俄无象限的战略伙伴关系是建立在普京总统与习主席的共识和个人关系基础上的。
介绍了中。
I have briefed China's position on this issue. This is Russia's internal affairs, and we also support Russia in maintaining national stability and achieving development and prosperity.
下一个问题。
Next question, please.
Foreign Minister Rudenko visited.
俄罗斯副外长周末访华，这是在瓦格纳兵变之后发生的。中方和俄方的声明不太一样。中方表示发生在6月24日，而俄方表示这在双方的讨论议程之内。中方对此有何评论？
外长秦。
Yesterday, State Council and Foreign Minister Qin Gang met with Russian Deputy Foreign Minister and our Vice Foreign Minister had consultation with him to have exchange view on international and regional issues of mutual concerns and China-Russia relations. We have released a readout and you may refer to that. Thank you. Next question.
Ukrainian news agency confirmed.
乌通社关于扎波罗热核电站，据乌方称，控制扎波罗热核电厂的俄罗斯军方在6个动力装置中的4个附近放置了爆炸装置，并计划引爆它们以造成放射性污染，试图阻止乌克兰的反击。乌克兰总统泽连斯基表示，国际社会没有足够重视俄罗斯在扎波罗热核电站的威胁。外交部对此有何评论？
我不了解你提到的具体情况。
I'm not aware of the specifics you mentioned. China attaches importance to the safety and security of nuclear facilities in Ukraine and supports the IAEA in playing a constructive role. The safety and security of Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant is just a part of the Ukraine crisis, and its settlement ultimately depends on the prospects of the political settlement of the Ukraine crisis itself. All parties should bear in mind the larger picture of peace and common security and create enabling conditions for resuming talks and properly resolving relevant issues, including the safety and security of the power plants. China will remain committed to promoting talks for peace and playing a constructive role in seeking a political settlement of the Ukraine crisis. Next one, please.
还有其他问题吗？
Are there Any more questions? Then that's the end of today's press conference. Thank you all.